Either are you afraid of heights? No, I'm afraid of monsters. Elevation! Woo! 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 Elevation is a song by U2 that was part of the Tomb Raider soundtrack. It's also a film that was directed by George Knopfler, who did The Adjustment Bureau. He's also done other projects, but he directed that. Remember that neat little idea that was executed poorly? Yeah, that, with the stupid hats and traveling. So anyway, it was written by 3 people. I don't know why the fuck it took 3 people to write this goddamn slop. Oh, I indicating how I felt about this dumb fucking basic bitch of a concept of a sci-fi monster movie. This was dumb as hell. John Glenn, who did Eagle Eye, not Eagle Eye Cherry, no saving tonight, no fighting tomorrow. I would rather just lay down and die rather than watch this again. Yeah, he did Eagle Eye, he's done other stuff. And also 2 guys that did SEAL Team. Not SEAL Team 6, but some television show called SEAL Team. Jacob Roman, Ooh-Rah, and Kenny Ryan. So, yeah, you have Anthony Mackie. Yeah, the guy's going to be the new Captain America. He plays Will, who wants to save his son Hunter and must venture out into the wilderness and basically get supplies. Oh, yes, it's post-apocalyptic, and there's monsters that approach you if you go below 8,000 feet. Why? We find out why, and the explanation is far dumber than anything I could have come up with, and I've come up with some really dumb explanations. So, joining him in this journey is Nina, played by the incredibly gorgeous Morena Baccarin, who is in not Daredevil, but Deadpool. She's in her mid-40s and looks fucking incredible. I mean, seriously, I thought she was like 30. Anyway, there's also somebody else, Maddie Hassan, however you say that. She was in Malignant. This movie is Malignant and needed to be cut off. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be mean, but this movie is so bad. She plays Katie, and yeah, it's from Vertical, who did Your Monster. Your Monster was entertaining, but I'm finding out that Vertical and Bleecker Street are kind of becoming the independent versions of Blumhouse. Ironic, considering that Blumhouse makes movies on the cheap. And Bleecker Street hasn't really made a whole lot of good stuff, and neither really has Vertical. Your Monster was good. This. There are creatures that basically can't go past 8,000 feet. So, yeah, there's lines delineated because we're 2.5 years into this whole damn thing, and Will must go save his son, or must go get supplies for his son because his son is sick. I personally would just, not do that. I mean, I wouldn't go those lengths, but I also don't like children. But that being said, he must venture out, and the 2 women go with him, and then they spout exposition, and then action-y shit happens, and they thought this would get a sequel. They thought this should be a franchise. They thought that this was a good enough idea to put the film, and then put this film in theaters. There were 4 people in the theater at 9 p.m. when I decided to see it. This is the 3rd movie I saw of the day. I saw Memoir of a Snail, I saw Heretic, and then I saw this. You could zone out of half of this movie and not miss shit. The action scenes are terrible. The CGI is at best average, and at its worst is so generic and so bleh. It's like the creature designs are absolutely ridiculous. Everybody's phoning in their goddamn performances. Nobody has any believability as far as their character goes. And because it's such a small group, you can't even have a decent body count to justify the fact that people would venture out into the wilderness. And the idea is they have to find a way to stop these creatures, but you can't hurt them with bullets. You can, if you get a direct hit, you can maybe stop them temporarily. My God, that just sounds like unkillable monsters. It sounds like A Quiet Place, except you could stop the ones in A Quiet Place, just like they should have stopped A Quiet Place after part 2, because A Quiet Place day 1 was fucking dog shit. So, yeah, we just basically get a plodding 80 or so minute movie where they thought this really deserved a sequel. That's not really much of a spoiler, even though it kind of is, but spoiling this will not haunt you at all. It's in theaters. It'll be on streaming very soon. Vertical. Shit the bed here. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. They're machines. They're machines. And here's how you find out they're machines. Nina used to run a lab. This is in the Rocky Mountains, Rocky Mountain High and everything. The Rocky Mountain High thing actually tied back to Memoir of a Snail. Kind of funny, like. And yeah, it's a dystopian future. Basically, it's set in Boulder, Colorado, or filmed in Boulder, Colorado. And the idea is Will used to do some operative work or used to do construction stuff or something. Katie likes him, but Katie doesn't last very long. She gets stabbed at one point because these creatures also can detect your oxygen levels. And if you're breathing hard, they can find you because they're machines. Seriously, these could have been creatures that hunted by sound or creatures that hunted by vibrations, like they're fucking graboids, and it wouldn't have been original, but it would have been a hell of a lot better than what they tried to do here, because they tried to throw so much shit in. We're like, oh no, it's not this, we're gonna throw you this curveball, and what do you mean you don't like it because our writing's fucking dog shit? So yeah, Nina, basically Will lost his wife and blamed Nina for it. Nina's constantly drinking because Nina has been part of this expedition before. She has seen these creatures up close. And there is, Katie hasn't, but Katie wants to go along with because Katie likes Will, I guess, possibly, maybe. They never really get into that because Katie dies. But they do this silly thing where they get past... They get to like these, you know, this one place that has all these weapons that just somehow managed to be there. And the idea is, okay, let's get these weapons, let's get these grenade launchers. Like it's Metal Slug for idiots. And they ran into one of the creatures. She's trying to blow it up. It's not really working. I mean, if it's damaging it, it ain't damaging it much. They managed to get the ski lift thing going, and they get the ski lift going. But then the creature, it has tentacles. A shark with tentacles, plus the great taste of chicken. Whatever. Leaving it in there. They get, you know, the tentacles get up there. They start snapping the cables. And Katie manages to get up there and dive onto the goddamn thing. But then she's hanging up. But the creature, I guess, just took a break because he's like, I could get her. But I'm so busy being a stupid, you know, generic CGI creature. So... yeah, they're going to go and they're going to get these supplies, these breathing supplies, these filters, whatever, for this machine that the son has. Oh, yes, and then Nina reveals that she actually was worked at a lab that's only about 5,800 feet up. By the way, you need to be above 8,000 feet or above, or otherwise you'll die. Anyway, she used to be part of this lab, you know, team that was experimenting on batteries, make batteries last longer, and experimenting with all kinds of compounds and everything. And gee, I wonder what's going to happen here. She decides the best way is to discuss using a compound on bullets to basically stop these things, blow them up, you know, fry their circuitry. Even though she doesn't know their creature, she doesn't know their machines yet, she has this idea that there's something electrically charged because they came up from under the ground, or at least they seem to come from under the ground because there's these holes there. Like they're fucking Bugs Bunny taking the wrong turn at Albuquerque. Then Katie ends up getting killed stupidly, kind of hilariously. Still, I'll take Malignant over this because Malignant at least was filmed in Seattle and the environs. I wish we got better movies in Seattle, but nevertheless. She gets killed, so now it's down to Will and Nina because they were trying to get through this particular area where there are these tunnels in this mountain as opposed to tunnels in the goddamn air. And they get up to the hospital, but the creature's there and all this, you know, crazy shit's going on. He gets these filters or whatever the fuck it is for his goddamn son. Who cares? Let the little shit die. Sorry, nothing against the character, I mean, not the kid. No, let's save the kids. Save the kids. Get rid of the right-wing crackpot fucks. But nevertheless, let's just see if that's all they need. No, Nina decides, hey, wait a second. I want to go to my lab. But first, they got to get rid of the creature. So they do. Basically, Anthony Mackie ends up shooting these tanks and blows them up. And the creature gets sent out there, and the creature's dead. Hooray! They go to the lab, and she's experimenting with this weird stuff, and she... you know, putting these compounds on, letting it dry, it's not working. None of this stuff is working. And she says, you know what? I'm going to stay behind even though there's nobody here. My car's out there. Maybe my car's not working, but my car's out there. We found a truck earlier that had bad tires. More on that in a second. So you go back to your son and I'll be fine. I'll experiment on this. Okay. And he does. And then she's experimenting. She looks at these batteries, these weird batteries here, and then finds cobalt, and she puts cobalt on it, and then suddenly the creature shows up, and she does this. She shoots, and then we cut away from that, he's driving along, and then the tire blows and the car flips and everything. And now suddenly these creatures are all around him. There were these few parts at one point where like there were deer and horses. Goodbye horses. Well, let's carry on and on and on for you. But basically these horses are running around. It's like, I would have rather followed the horses around and watch them plop all around, because you know what? It contained less shit than this movie. But anyway, he kicks out the window. He gets the filter thing, whatever. And all this bad shit's going on. And then everything seems hopeless. He's almost at this one elevation part. And then one of the creatures has the higher ground, which wouldn't make sense if it's not able to go past 8,000 feet. But nevertheless, the other two and all this stuff's going on. Everything looks hopeless. He's shooting. He's basically given up. And then suddenly, bullet, boom. And Nina somehow managed to get away from the lab, race. Her radiator blew. She managed to go half a goddamn mile up that mountain and get there. Despite the fact, I guess he was crashed for a bit, but still, whatever. And then she shoots the others and they boom, boom. And then they discover their machines. And the whole idea is there's this pirate flag thing that they're going to raise to indicate to these other compounds on these mountains, hey, we have a way to kill them. So yeah, they get back to the whole thing. He manages to save his son. They create more bullets for these creatures, and then they leave the elevated areas, and then they're just shooting them indiscriminately and blowing them up. And then we found, it's like, we got to fight them at one point, so why not do it today? And then we cut to the credits. We see a map, and all this stuff's going on. We're like the green. We're taking the country back from these weird creatures. Oh yes, and then Nina and Will are looking up, and they suddenly see what looks like meteors coming down. Oh, so they come from the air also. You can't make up your mind what you want to fucking be, movie, so why the fuck should I care what you want to be? Elevation is goddamn bullshit. How dare you? How dare you, movie? And Anthony Mackie apparently was a producer. I produce a lot of stuff I don't want the world to see, and I wish the world wouldn't see Elevation. It'll probably be on streaming soon if you want to see it, if you can stomach it. This slop, this horseshit, it gets an F, it's terrible. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.